Hi, good evening. So today's video is going to be a little different just because I was cooking and I had some thoughts and I just wanted to share it with you now that I'm kind of like in this flow state, because usually what happens is I want to wait until like a new day in order to share like the message or whatever it is I'm thinking. I'm trying to find a place to keep this so I can like cook and also share what I'm thinking currently, but I guess I'll just have to put it right here and then I'll just sit down and then we can have a little discussion. So basically what I was thinking while I was like washing my thing was just how like we need hobbies in life. Like in this life, we need hobbies. And I know it's weird because we have this 9-to-5 job and it kind of blurs the lines because you feel like you're just here to work. After you work a 40-hour shift, you don't want to do anything but relax and recover from all that stress that you just gave to somebody else or people just put onto you. You know what I mean? Like you just worked a 40-hour shift, gave all your energy to a corporation, to rich people, and you have none for yourself. The little energy that you have to use it to rest and rejuvenate for the next week. But I really believe that having a hobby is so important and good for your mental health, because if you don't have a hobby, then what are you doing with this like experience? You know what I mean? Like this physical, spiritual experience that we're all living in. This stimulation, right? Because I can say like, oh, like monks meditate. I understand why monks just want to sit around and do nothing but meditate all day, because what else are you supposed to do if you're not out here hustling and bustling and da 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 da? Like, yes, I'm a big fan of the idea of going out and having a great life and going to the club and having a social life, but at the same time, I also feel like you should be able to sit down and just enjoy the present moment without needing to go. And that's why I just feel like it's important to get a hobby that allows you to do that. You know, even if you're doing something, it should be something that calms your spirit. And it doesn't have to be something that you necessarily make money out of, because now everyone wants to turn their hobbies into a business. Everyone wants to turn their talent and make and monetize off of it. And that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, it's also good to have the mindset of creating just for the sake of creating, just because you know that it's helping you with your mental health. Like me and the whole YouTube thing, although I want to become a YouTuber, although I want to make a name and be a celebrity and whatnot, I still feel like this is a soul thing for me. Just how musicians like to make music and artists like to paint and actors, they channel a lot of their energy in their acting. Me speaking is very therapeutic for me. Like especially now that I don't really have friends and I don't have people to talk to, I really enjoy talking. And that's another thing, especially with being African and just, I don't know, I don't want to say like I hate being African, because that's just not true. I just don't like the African culture, history, traditions. It's just not, I love being African. I love being gay and African. Are you fucking kidding me? That's amazing. But I don't like the rules that come with it. Like, when I was going through my psychosis, my spiritual psychosis, I need to stop calling it mania and like just regular psychosis. It was a spiritual thing. But when I was going through my spiritual psychosis, I just felt like, how do I explain this? When I was going through my spiritual psychosis, I just felt like the shackles were being removed, and that could also be the shrooms talking a little bit, but I was saying a lot of things, posting on YouTube, and people were just kind of like, even my mom, she was like, you can't be talking and saying shit like this. Basically, I was just talking about like sex, and I even remember talking about incest and all that stuff. And at the time, because I was such in I don't even know it was just a weird time for me. Looking back at it, it was like, okay, yes, did it look crazy? Absolutely, but there was nothing wrong with having uncomfortable topics, like talking about uncomfortable things that people just kind of taboo topics, because you're not supposed to talk about the taboo shit. Just like how I'm not supposed to come out of the closet and be gay because it's not normal, it's not okay. But it's like, I want to talk about I want to have the hard conversations. I want to talk about the things that you're not supposed to talk about, because why can't we talk about it? Is it not existing? Are people not doing it? Like, is incest not a thing? Did incest not come? Are we not all from one source? You know, like, why can't I have an opinion on it, you know? So I was saying a lot of things, and people thought like, oh, it's the psychosis, it's the drugs. And the more I become aware and I just think about that time in my life, it was just like, okay, yeah, bitch, it came off crazy, but you weren't, that was just who you were. Like, you just wanted to have those conversations. That's genuinely what I wanted to talk about. Those things that I was saying while I was under my spiritual psychosis, although it wasn't. And another thing that surprised me, like, okay, maybe for my family, like the aunts and uncles, my mom, my dad, maybe like that was a shock to them. But for people who really know me, hello, when have you ever known me to not be wild? When have you ever known me to not say and speak what's on my mind? It was just because I was under spells, lol. That was just what came on my mind. You know how like, you're under spells, people. Yeah, maybe I was under spells. But yeah, I was going through spiritual psychosis, so everything gave like questionable. Everything I did was very questionable, because it's like, is this coming? But like I said, I feel like you should, if you know me, yeah, he's acting crazy, but at the same time, this is who he is. Like, he talks crazy, he says crazy stuff. Even if I'm just talking, sometimes I just talk because I want to make people laugh. I just know how to say things. Not the thing that irritates me now after going through that whole thing is I question every single thing that I want to do. I question every single joke I want to make, because I don't want to make it seem like it's inappropriate. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Whereas before, I just to speak what the fuck was on my mind and say how I felt. I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a fuck, because I knew that people knew me and people understood who I was, and I never had to be so self-conscious. But now it's like, I have to be, I don't have to be, I guess. That's the thing. Like, I say like I have to be, I don't have to be, but I am. That's just who I am in this moment. And I really pray that 2026, I am filled with the spirit of boldness. I want to be bold, and I want to let go of this spirit of fear and say how I feel and speak my mind, and stop being scared of people and stop giving people my power. Because although I'm not like intentionally, or I don't know that I'm always giving people my power, just the simple fact that I fear what people might think, and I don't do certain things because I'm afraid of how people will take it, that's giving my power away. And so I really don't want to do that anymore. But the moral of this video is like, y'all need a hobby. Like, we need hobbies. Me, I like word searches, so I'm not just out here telling you guys, oh, y'all need to do this, y'all need to do that. I love having hobbies. Like, when I was a kid, I loved coloring. I was never able to draw. I never knew how to draw. I wish I did. I used to try to trace papers, but I was never like a drawer. But I love to color. I love to color, and I love to write, just for the simple fact that I like to see my handwriting, because I knew I had nice handwriting. So at school, I enjoyed writing because I enjoyed looking at my handwriting. But now I color, I do word searches. I really like word searches. And you might think like word searches are so easy, but I actually enjoy doing them. I think it calms me down. Anything that, like a hobby that puts you in the present moment, that makes you at one with your mind, where you're not thinking, and you can just, like, thoughts are gonna come up, but you are in a state where you can just allow them to come up and just flow. Absolutely, you need to get a hobby, because if you don't, then you're just, what are we doing here? You know, you go to work, you work your 9 to 5, you come home, you rest, maybe you'll go out with some friends. Do you have time to really sit with yourself and understand who you are? Because I realized a lot of people, like I had an old best friend who is even like she's always doing things. She's always doing things. Like, she loves having a busy day. And I don't like question it sometimes. I feel like that's just her. That's just who she is. So I don't try to project any like, oh, she just can't sit with her thoughts, or she's running away from something. But I don't like the whole, I gotta do this, da, da, da. That's just not my vibe. And it comes off lazy, especially in this society where you gotta hustle, you gotta grind. Slow down. That's why I loved COVID. Huh? Sit in your house and do nothing? Say less. Like, I was out and about, no cap, I'm not gonna lie, I was doing stuff. But for the most part, I loved it. I was at home, I loved it. So COVID was never an issue for me. Sometimes I even kind of pray for something like that to happen again. I just don't. It's hard to say because you're like, I don't want to. I don't. People. A lot of people are dying. That was a very traumatizing year for a lot of people. So it's like I don't want to say that. But for me, thank God for protection over myself and my family. Like, I enjoyed it. So I don't know. I just feel like find a hobby, do something that you're passionate about, and even if you suck at it, still do it. That's another thing. Even if you're not good at the shit, whatever it is you want to do it any fucking way. Okay? Because then you'll get good. Like me in this, like I feel like I've lost my touch with this. I feel like I'm not as good as I used to be with this. I used to be able to walk down the street in my neighborhood and hold the camera and just talk and just flow. I don't want to say I can't do that anymore because, like I said earlier, I can do it. I just don't feel like I can do it. Does that make sense? Like I can do it. I just don't feel like I can do it. So I'm sure if I like practice, then I could definitely do it. But I'm a little out of practice and I don't want to say I get scared, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, all I'm trying to say to you guys is we're here on this earth having this human experience. Outside of working and being in this like state of I need to achieve, I need to do this, I need to do that. Find something that just allows you to be. Just be with yourself. Get a coloring book. Draw. My mom's a tailor. Sew some clothes. Like y'all, and that's the thing about like my mom. I don't like tell her this often, but one thing that annoys me is like my mom knows how to sew very well. Like she was, I don't want to say the breadwinner of her family when her dad passed away, but she helped raise her siblings because she had her own fashion store. She was making money and she doesn't sew. And it's just like, I don't know if like I had certain talents. I say that now because I have my talent and I don't even use my talent and I get so like discouraged about my talent and I don't, like I bitch and moan. I'm like, God, why can't you just do it? So it's like funny because outside looking in, I'm like, if I had this person's talent, if I had this person's gift, I know where I'd be. But realistically, it's like, bitch, you have your shit and you can't even appreciate what you got. So how are you gonna sit there? Excuse the mess in the back. That is not my mess. I have roommates. Anyway, so that's why it's hard. But like sometimes I'm like, oh, why are you just wasting this gift, lady? Like even if you have nothing to do, just sew shit. Like just sew, and then like ideas will come. Even if it's not like, let's say if I'm coloring, using my coloring book. Let's say I'm coloring, right? And I'm coloring and I'm focused on my coloring. I'll just have ideas for things that I want to like talk about, things that are like helps me with my actual passion. I don't know how to say it in a way that makes sense, but if I'm coloring, although I'm in a creative state and I'm doing something that seems like a hobby, it is a hobby. It also gives me ideas for other hobbies, for other things in my life that I want to try. I hope I was able to explain that right. But doing other hobbies helps me with my main like passion. Like you will even find a hobby after coloring, you'll be like, oh wait, maybe I'm interested in acting. Like, because you'll just be seeing things in your head and because you're in the present moment, your mind is relaxed, you're chill, you're in a state of receptivity. I hope I said that right? You're in a state to receive insights from like your higher self, from God. Like you're in that state, you're in that frequency. So of course, you're leaving room for ideas to come in. Find a hobby, listen to music. If that's another thing that I've been really getting to. I've been listening to albums. I'm really not an album listener when it comes to music. So I just kind of like go with the mainstream, or if I listen to an album, I'll listen to it one time and the songs that I like from the first listen is the only songs that I'll like download. So if an album has like 14 songs and I listen to it like the first time, I'm only gonna download 3 that I like, and then I'm never gonna listen to the album again. But I realize sometimes, you like the first 3, but if you keep listening to that album on the repeat, you're gonna like another set of 3s that you didn't know. But at that time, that 3 that you first liked, that was the vibe that you were on. But maybe if like you're listening to an album and it has like 4 sad songs, 4 happy songs, 4 like songs about whatever, right? the first time you listen, maybe you're just focused on the happy songs because you're in a happy state. So the sad songs don't really resonate with you. So you like the four happy songs. And then you listen to it again, and then you're like, wait, but this time you're in like a different, even if it's like the next day, it's just different. I just feel like if you listen to it at different times, you'll find it and you'll hear things that you didn't hear on the first time you heard it, if that makes sense. Anyway, the whole moral of this fucking video was to tell you guys to find a hobby. It doesn't have to be something that you're super passionate about. It doesn't have to be something that you're just like absolutely, yeah, just find a hobby, bitch. And you'll be able to maybe even find your passion through said hobby. You just never fucking know. Okay? And you don't have to try to make money, because even me, I'd be coloring. I'm like, ooh, maybe I can like make a video of me coloring and people want to watch, and bitch, just color. Okay? Just color and enjoy your time with yourself. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to sit here and ramble more than I need to, because that's how I lose myself. In this video, I think it was pretty good. So yes, find a hobby. And I will talk to you guys later. I'm currently cooking right now. I'm making mac and cheese. I should not be making mac and cheese because I feel like I've been eating like a fat lard these last couple of days from Christmas and stuff. And I've been eating way too much mac and cheese. I've been gaining hella weight, but it's okay. I know when I'm ready. I shouldn't say that though, but I do know when I'm ready, I'm gonna get my ass up and hit the gym. And I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.